Good day, it is Altia from the Bible in 1 Year. Today we spend time in Genesis 25, focusing on being holy and faithful to God's Word. This chapter distinguishes between children who were legal heirs and those excluded from inheritance. God remembered his promise to Abram and Sarah to give them descendants as numerous as the sand of the sea, and by his grace, Sarah gave birth to Isaac, the son of promise, in Genesis 21. Abram had also children through concubines. Keturah bore 6 sons, and Hagar, the Egyptian servant, bore Ishmael, who had 12 sons that settled east of Egypt according to their tribes in verses 1 to 18. Ishmael's sons became leaders of tribes, fulfilling God's promise to Hagar in the wilderness in Genesis 17 verse 20. Wealthy men often had more than one wife. Concubines had lower status, and their children were not considered heirs. While Abram lived, he gave gifts to the sons of Hagar and Keturah and sent them east, away from Isaac, who inherited all that Abram had, in verses 5 and 6. God commanded Abram to walk habitually and faithfully in his presence, with integrity and obedience, in Genesis 17 verse 1. Hebrews 11 honors him as a hero of faith because he trusted God and had confidence in what he could not yet see. Despite difficulties and sufferings, he obeyed and persevered. Though not perfect, God commended Abram for trusting his promises, even without seeing their full fulfillment. Abram died at a good old age, satisfied with life, and was properly buried by Isaac and Ishmael in verses 8 to 10. God blessed Isaac, who married Rebekah. Isaac prayed for her to conceive, and God granted his prayer in verse 21. Rebekah gave birth to twins, Esau and Jacob, whose relationship was hostile even in the womb, in verse 22. Rebekah asked the Lord why this was so, and he said, "The founders of 2 nations are in your womb, and the separation has already begun." The firstborn was covered in reddish hair all over, therefore they named him Esau, meaning hairy. Jacob came out grasping Esau's heel, a sign of his later role as a deceiver who would take Esau's birthright and blessing. The ancient Nuzi text from the 15th century BC in Mesopotamia provides evidence for transferable birthrights. Birthrights include a double portion of inheritance, leadership over the family's property, and the responsibility to continue the family name. It could be transferred by oath or exchanged for goods. While legally permissible, selling or disregarding a birthright was spiritually unwise. Esau displays a dismissive attitude towards his birthright, failing to value his role in God's plan and the promise God made through Abram. Hebrews 12 verse 16 to 17 use Esau as an immoral, unholy example who prioritized earthly desires over spiritual inheritance. His descendants, the Edomites, later opposed Israel, acting as the root of bitterness, showing the importance of God's protection over the covenant line. God declared, "The older shall serve the younger," in verse 23, making Jacob as the carrier of the Abrahamic covenant and the lineage of the Messiah, the plan of redemption for the world. Yet God still fulfilled his promise to Abram by blessing Esau with a great nation, wealth, and prosperity, demonstrating his mercy. Esau represents those who focus on worldly desires, while Jacob represents the struggle of faith and the spiritual covenant. From this chapter, we learn to trust God's plan for our lives. hold fast to His promises, to live holy, faithful, and obedient lives to God's Word, even if you don't know or see the outcome in your own lifetime. May you be blessed. Goodbye.